The hockey rink in Chestnut Hill, Mass, emptied out at 11:48 p.m. after a Boston College preseason exhibition game, and Nico Valentini was the last player off the ice, laughing, padded, helmet under one arm, when two men in black ski masks stepped out from behind a Zamboni, and one of them swung a tire iron at his head. Nico ducked. The iron took out a chunk of concrete behind him. He drove his shoulder pad into the first man's chest, knocked him backwards into the boards, and the second man brought the iron down on Nico's shooting hand. 2 fingers, snapped clean. He heard it before he felt it. He still threw the first attacker into the second one. Both men hit the concrete. They scrambled up and ran. Nico did not chase them. He sat down on the bench in his pads with his ruined hand in his lap and called his brother. Dante was on the family plane within 40 minutes. Siena was already buckling into the seat across from him when he turned and asked her, very quietly, "Why are you coming?" "Because if you go alone, you will kill someone before you reach the hospital." He looked at her for a long moment. "You're right." The plane took off. At Boston Medical Center at 4 a.m., Nico's surgery was finishing. The orthopedic surgeon came out and told Dante, 2 pins, 6-month recovery, hockey career probably over. The surgeon walked away. Dante did not move. He stood in the green-lit hallway with his hands at his sides, and Siena watched the most controlled man she had ever met begin to come apart in absolute silence. He turned. He walked to the window at the end of the hallway. He pressed his forehead against the glass. She came up behind him. She did not touch him. His shoulders shook once. He turned, eyes wet, and looked down at her, and he said the only honest thing he had said all night, "I can't do this without you." She took his hand. Siena Russo stood in the green-lit cafeteria of Boston Medical Center at 5:47 a.m., browning butter in a borrowed sauté pan over a vending machine hot plate. And the security guard, who had been about to throw her out, took one whiff of the brown butter and the lemon zest and the chicken cutlets, and quietly walked back to his post and pretended he had not seen her. She brought the plate upstairs, wrapped in 3 layers of foil. Chicken Milanese, breaded the way Nico had said his grandmother used to make it. Lemon wedges from the cafeteria salad bar, a single basil leaf she had snuck from the floral arrangement. Nico opened his eyes when she sat down beside him.
"Siena."
"Eat."
"My hand."
"My hand. I'll feed you."
She cut the cutlet into pieces. She fed him forkful by forkful in the green hospital light at 6 a.m., with his hand in a cast and his shooting career hanging from a coin flip. He ate. He cried. He ate. He cried. Again.
"Siena,
"Yes.
don't ever leave."
I'm not going anywhere."
She wiped his mouth with a napkin. She set the plate aside. She held his uninjured hand until he fell back asleep. In the hallway outside, Dante Valentini stood watching through the glass, the Don of New York, in a Tom Ford suit, leaning against a wall. And he watched a 23-year-old culinary school graduate feed his little brother in a hospital bed at dawn. And his face did something his face had not done in 14 years. It cracked. Tomas came up beside him. He handed him a coffee.
Boss.
Don't.
Boss. I have known you since we were 8. I am going to say this once. Marry that woman.
Dante closed his eyes.
I am going to.
He says. The Valentini estate gate camera caught a black Bentley screeching to a stop at 2:14 a.m. on a Saturday. And Lucia Greco stumbled out of the back seat in a sequin dress, with one heel missing, and a bottle of Dom Perignon in her left hand. And the intercom at the front gate squealed as she pressed the buzzer with the bottle.
Da, 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 da,
The bedrooms on the second floor lit up one by one. Dante did not come down. He stood at his bedroom window in a black t-shirt and pajama pants and watched a woman scream at his front gate, and he did not move. Siena came out of her room across the hall. She was barefoot. She walked to his door. He turned and looked at her.
"I'll handle here."
Siena says,
You will not.
"Yes, I will. Because if you go down there, the cameras outside the gate will catch you on every tabloid by morning. And if I go down, I am the chef. The chef saw to it.
She paused.
Out loud, Dante.
He looked at her for a long moment. He nodded once. Siena went downstairs. Mrs. Carmela handed her a wool coat over her pajamas. The two guards opened the gate. Lucia Greco was sitting on the curb crying, black mascara running, the bottle empty.
You.
Me.
He won't even come out for me.
He's asleep, Lucia.
You think you're the first cook he's looked at?
Lucia laughed. Her teeth were red with wine.
Ask him, Siena. Ask him about Elena.
Siena crouched down. She put her coat over Lucia's bare shoulders. She signaled to the guard at the gate to call a car.
Lucia, go home.
Ask him about Elena.
I will.
Lucia looked up. Her eyes through the mascara were bright and terrible.
He'll never stop loving her, Siena.
Siena stood up.
I know.
The Valentini Estates library at 3:42 a.m. was lit by a single green banker's lamp and a wall of cold blue from the East River through the floor-to-ceiling windows, and Dante Valentini sat in a leather-wing chair with his elbows on his knees and his hands clasped between them, and he looked at Siena across the rug like a man who had been preparing this confession for 4 years.
Her name was Elena Marchetti. She was a sommelier at La Grenouille. I met her at a charity dinner when I was 26. We were engaged 8 months later. We were going to be married on the lawn of my parents' house in Southampton in June.
His voice was perfectly even.
She was killed on April 14th, 4 years ago, in our kitchen. She was making me pasta when a man, Marco Greco, had kicked the back door open and shot her 3 times.
Siena sat very still.
3 times in the chest. She lived for 9 minutes.
He stopped.
I was upstairs. I heard everything. By the time I got down, she was already gone. The pasta water was still boiling. The sauce was anchovies and lemon. The recipe her grandmother had taught her. She was singing when he came in. I heard her singing.
Siena's hands were folded in her lap. She did not move.
I have not told anyone that story since the funeral. My mother knows. My father knows. Tomas knows. No one else.
He lifted his eyes. They were dry.
I have not loved anyone in 4 years. I have not let myself. I built this entire war around making the Grecos pay, and I did not let anyone close. Until you walked into the kitchen with flour on your cheek and made me a sandwich.
Siena's eyes were wet. He did not see it.
I am not asking you to be Elena. I am asking you to be Siena. I am telling you all of this because you asked, and because you deserve to know what you are walking into. Out loud.
She crossed the rug. She knelt in front of his chair. She took his face in both hands.
I'm walking into it.
Siena Russo's apartment kitchen, the one above her grandmother's place in Queens, smelled like simmering anchovy and crushed garlic at 6 p.m. on a Sunday, and a battered moleskin notebook lay open on the cutting board with Elena Marchetti's handwriting in faded ballpoint across a recipe titled simply Spaghetti del Cuore. Siena had found the notebook 2 weeks after she moved in. Mrs. Carmela had given it to her without a word, a drawer in the kitchen, behind the silver polish.
He doesn't open this drawer.
Carmela had said.
But you should.
For 2 weeks, Siena had been making Elena's recipes. The ragu bolognese, the Tuesday after she found the book. The hand-rolled garganelli, the Thursday after that. Dante had eaten every one without comment. He had never said a word. Tonight, on her 1 day off, Siena had taken the book home. She had cooked Elena's pasta, anchovies, lemon, capers, a splash of pasta water, and she had eaten it standing up at her grandmother's stove while her grandmother watched her from a chair at the kitchen table.
Cara, who taught you that recipe?
A woman I never met.
You cook it like you knew her.
I think I did know her, Nana, through her cooking.
Her grandmother nodded slowly. She crossed herself.
Cara, the man you are in love with.
Nonna.
The man you are in love with carries the woman who wrote that recipe in his pocket every day of his life. You are not afraid?
I am afraid.
Good. Be afraid, and feed him her food, because she would want him fed. And he will know what you are doing, and he will love you for it, because that is what we do, Siena. We feed our men, even the ghosts of them.
Siena's eyes filled. Her phone buzzed. It was Dante.
Come home, now.
She wrapped the leftover pasta in foil. She got in a car. The dining room at the Valentini estate was empty at 8:14 p.m., except for two place settings at one end of the long table, and Dante sat in his shirt sleeves at one of them with a single glass of red wine in front of him, and Siena walked in still in her jeans from Queens with a foil-wrapped Tupperware in her hand and set it on the table without a word.
What is that?
He says,
Spaghetti.
What kind?
Yours.
He looked at her. She unwrapped the Tupperware. She plated the pasta on the warm spode bowl Mrs. Carmela had set out. Anchovy, lemon, capers, a whisper of butter. The smell hit the room, and something in Dante's face, something he had been holding in place for 4 years, went very loose.
Siena,
Eat.
how did you?
Carmela gave me her notebook 2 weeks after I moved in. I have been cooking her recipes for you. I'm not going to apologize for it.
He stared at the plate. He did not move.
Dante, eat.
He picked up the fork. He took a single bite. He closed his eyes. He chewed twice. He swallowed. He set the fork down. He did not open his eyes. A long, slow tear slid down his cheekbone and stopped at his jaw.
Siena,
I'm here.
she used to sing while she cooked this.
I know. You told me.
You can hear her singing in the pasta. I don't know how, but you can.
I know.
He opened his eyes. They were red. He stood up. He came around the table. He cupped her face in both hands.
Marry me.
Don't ask me yet.
Why?
Because the next time you ask me, I want it to be in a place we have not bled in, with your father's ring, in front of your mother, out loud, and tonight is not that night.
He laughed wet, broken, free.
Okay.
He kissed her. This time the kiss did not break. Marco Greco's racketeering indictment leaked to the New York Times at 6 a.m. on a Wednesday, and by 7:14 a.m., FBI agents were knocking on the front door of his Park Avenue penthouse, and by 9:30, the photo of him in a Navy windbreaker being walked through 26 Federal Plaza was on every news channel in America. Siena saw it on the kitchen television. She set down her coffee. She walked into Dante's study without knocking. He was at his desk, reading.
Did you do this?
I did this.
How long have you been building this case?
2 years. 8 months.
Why now?
Because last Friday they tried to kill my father at my dinner table. Because last week they put my brother's hand in a cast. Because they have been hitting your brother's truck every other Tuesday for a month. And because you are now living in this house, and that means they will keep coming, and I will not run a war from a chair when I can win one from a courtroom.
He set the file down.
It's done, Siena. Marco Greco will not see the outside of a federal prison again.
She sat down on the leather couch.
And his daughter? And his nephew? And his soldiers? And the men who killed my father 30 years ago?
Dante looked at her steadily.
The men who killed your father 30 years ago are mostly dead. The 2 who are not are in the indictment, as accessories. As witnesses, they are about to flip. They will be charged with first-degree murder by Friday.
Siena closed her eyes.
You knew their names.
I have known their names for 6 years.
Why didn't you?
Because I didn't have the case until I had it. Siena, I am not going to kill them. I am going to put them on the witness stand and let them put each other in cages. The way it should have been done 30 years ago for your father. The way Antonio Russo asked the FBI to do it before they betrayed him.
Siena's tears came then, quietly. She did not sob. He came around the desk. He sat down beside her. He did not touch her. She put her head on his shoulder.
Thank you.
Don't thank me yet.
Why not?
Because the day they're sentenced, that day, you can thank me. Today is just the beginning.